Hey, let's be real for a second. When you think about the Cowboys offense, you probably think of CeeDee Lamb tearing it up, and rightfully so. But now I want you to pause and ask yourself something. Who's the second guy you trust behind him? Who's the WR2 that keeps defensive coordinators up at night? Exactly. That's the heart of the problem. The WR2 role is wide open, and it's not just a luxury concern, it's a real threat to this team's ability to compete for a Super Bowl. Michael Gallup is gone. Brandon Cooks, while still dangerous, is heading into his 11th NFL season. The burst is there, but let's not pretend he's the same game breaker he was 5 years ago. And then, who? Jalen Tolbert? Jalen Brooks? Maybe sixth-round rookie Ryan Flournoy? It's a lot of question marks, not a lot of production. Think about last season. CeeDee was double-teamed in key moments, and when that happened, the offense stalled. Dak had nowhere else reliable to go. Defenses didn't respect our WR2 enough to shift their coverages. That's a major issue, and it's going to be even worse if we don't fix it now. Let me ask you something. Do you believe Brandon Cooks can hold down that WR2 spot all season long? Or should the Cowboys be aggressive and bring in someone younger, more explosive, and with WR1 upside? Drop your take in the comments because I want to know how you see it. And just to make it interactive, vote right now. Who should be the Cowboys WR2? A. Stick with Brandon Cooks. B. Develop Jalen Tolbert. C. Trade for a proven star. D. Let the rookie surprise us. In the next chapter, I'm breaking down exactly why this WR2 problem puts pressure on Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott, and what it means for their future in Dallas. You don't want to miss it. All right, now that we've laid out the WR2 problem, let's talk about the two people under the most pressure because of it, Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott. Starting with McCarthy. He's not just the head coach anymore. He's the play caller. This is his offense, so when things don't click, there's no Kellen Moore to point fingers at. If the passing game struggles because there's no second reliable receiver, the blame falls squarely on McCarthy's shoulders. He's got to find a way to get the ball to more than just CeeDee Lamb, and he's got to do it while proving that he can lead this team beyond the divisional round. No excuses. Then there's Dak. This is a contract year. Every throw he makes is under the microscope. And if the offense sputters, it won't matter to the critics whether his WR2 is aging or unproven. They'll just say, Dak can't elevate the talent around him. Sound familiar? You've probably heard it already, but here's the truth. Dak can't do it alone. Even elite quarterbacks need weapons. Joe Burrow has Chase and Higgins. Patrick Mahomes had Tyreek Hill and now Travis Kelce. You need a second guy who can take pressure off your number one and punish defenses for trying to double team. So let me ask, you. If things start off slow in the passing game, who do you think takes the heat first, McCarthy or Dak? Drop your answer in the comments and tell me why. And here's a quick poll to get your take. Who's under more pressure this season? A. Mike McCarthy. B. Dak Prescott. C. Both equally D. Neither. It's on the front office. In the next chapter, we'll shift gears and take a good look at who's currently in the WR2 mix. I'll break down what each of these players brings to the table and where they fall short. If you're still holding out hope that someone on the roster steps up, you're going to want to hear this. Let's break down the current wide receiver room and who's realistically in the running to be WR2. Spoiler alert. It's not a list that inspires a ton of confidence. First up is Brandon Cooks. On paper, he's WR2. He was brought in to be that guy last season. But he's 30 now, and while he still has some speed, the separation just hasn't been there consistently. He had some flashes late in 2023, but he finished with only 657 yards. Is that enough for someone playing opposite CeeDee Lamb? Probably not. Then there's Jalen Tolbert. Year 3 is typically when we expect to see a leap from a young receiver. Tolbert had 22 catches for 268 yards last season. He's improved, sure, But is he ready to carry WR2 responsibility over a 17-game schedule? That's a big ask. Cavante Turpin is a wild card. He's electric with the ball in his hands, but he's not built to be a full-time WR2. He's more of a gadget guy, a player you design a few plays for each week. If he's your WR2, you're in trouble. Jalen Brooks and Ryan Flournoy round out the group. Brooks showed some toughness in limited reps. But let's be honest, he's more of a WR4 or WR5. Flournoy is a rookie with upside, but expecting a day 3 pick to step into a starting role right away is a fantasy. So that's where things stand. The Cowboys are basically hoping that one of these guys makes a leap. That's not a strategy, that's wishful thinking. And you and I both know the NFC isn't going to wait around while Dallas experiments at one of the most important positions on the field. I want to know your thoughts. Who do you think has the best shot to become a legit WR2 this season? And let's vote. Which one of these WRs do you trust the most behind CeeDee Lamb? A. Brandon Cooks. B. Jalen Tolbert. C. Cavante Turpin. D. Someone else. Next up, we're diving into the external options. If the Cowboys were to pull the trigger on a trade, who should they go after? Now let's get to the good stuff, possible trade targets. Because if the Cowboys aren't happy with what they've got in-house, and you and I both know they shouldn't be, then they have to start looking outside. So who's realistically available and who makes the most sense? Let's start with George Pickens. If the Steelers are really willing to listen to offers, Dallas should be on the phone immediately. He's 23, explosive, and has WR1 traits. The downside? He's known to be a bit moody, and Pittsburgh might ask for a hefty price. But let's be honest. Pickens next to CeeDee? That's a nightmare for defenses. Another interesting name is DJ Moore. There were some whispers earlier this offseason about the Bears possibly reshaping their WR room after drafting Rome Odunze. Moore is productive, consistent, and doesn't come with drama. But is Chicago really ready to move on from their most proven receiver just as they bring in a rookie QB? That feels like a long shot. Next up, Rashad Bateman. Baltimore picked up his 5th-year option, but he's clearly fallen down the pecking order behind Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews. Bateman's flashed potential but has struggled to stay healthy. Still, he's got route-running skills and decent size. Could be a nice buy-low option if the Ravens are listening. T. Higgins is a popular fan wish, but let's pump the brakes there. Unless something drastic happens in Cincinnati, he's likely staying put at least for 2025. And the price tag? Probably too high for Jerry's liking. Last one I'll throw at you. Courtland Sutton. He's a solid veteran, good size, red zone threat, and has produced with mediocre QB play. Denver may be ready to fully reset. Could Sutton be a cheaper option to plug in right away? Time for some input from you. If the Cowboys could trade for one of these guys, who would you pick? And here's the big question. Do you think Dallas should be aggressive and give up draft capital to fix the WR2 hole now, or wait and gamble on internal growth? Up next, we'll talk about the price, because none of this matters if the numbers don't work. All right, now we're getting into the tough part. What will these trades actually cost? Because here's the deal. The Cowboys have to be smart with their draft capital and salary cap, or none of these shiny names will fit. First, draft capital. The Cowboys don't have a second-round pick in 2025, so they're somewhat limited. Expect any WR2 trade to cost a third-round pick at minimum, maybe a future pick thrown in. For players like George Pickens or DJ Moore, it's probably going to take a third and a mid-round pick or a combination of picks. For someone like Rashad Bateman or Courtland Sutton, it might be a straight-up third-rounder or even a late second-rounder depending on contract and team needs. Now, salary cap. This is where things get tricky. Pickens and Moore are likely going to command starting caliber money. The Cowboys are tight against the cap as it is, so they'd have to clear space by moving players or restructuring contracts. Bateman and Sutton are probably more affordable short-term, but the Cowboys also have to think about long-term cost and fit. And don't forget dead money. If a team trades a player with guaranteed money left, that hits the Cowboys' cap too. So the team's front office has to weigh all these factors carefully. Here's a question for you. Would you be okay with the Cowboys giving up multiple picks and some cap space to land a proven WR2 now? Or would you rather they stay conservative and develop their current roster? I want to know what you think, because this decision could shape the team's direction for years. Coming up, we'll break down how Brian Schottenheimer might use a new WR2 in the offense and what impact it could have on Dak Prescott and the Cowboys' passing game.